Hello everyone. Super excited to be back. We were off for a few days because I was traveling a little bit, but super excited to be back. So today we have two speakers, two guests actually, not speakers, who founded Eternal Fleur, Amanda and Sarah. And they'll just be talking, hi Allison, they'll be talking about their business, their partnership, and we'll dive right in when they join in a second. Hi Rose, how are you? Ladies, long time no see. But I'm back, as you can see. We paused the lives for a second because I was traveling, and Rahana knows how much I like my light. So I didn't have a lot of light in Chicago. Perfect. Okay, let's bring Amanda on. Perfect. Let me see.
Hi, how are you?
Hey, how are you?
Good, doing well. Happy almost weekend.
I know, it's so
Okay.
crazy. I just wrote an email today and I was like, I cannot believe it's like mid-July. Like, how in the world?
Yeah, time is flying by, and before you know it, we're going to be in a new year. So
I know, it's so
pretty.
crazy. Is Sarah joining, by the way? Do you know?
She is joining. Yes, she is
Okay,
joining.
perfect.
Yep, it's
So fun fact, I've never done this like three-way IG live, so you guys are the guinea pigs. So
yay!
we'll see how it goes.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So you're based in LIC, right? In New York, yeah.
Well, I live in Long Island City in New York. I usually just say New York because most people are like, where is Long Island City? But it's right across the bridge from Manhattan. And our business used to be based here as well. We actually started in Manhattan in the heart of New York City. And then we had our first warehouse here in Long Island City. But we moved the business over to Florida. So now we're in the beautiful Floridian weather.
Oh, so nice. Do you guys get to go back and forth a lot?
Yeah, the last time I was there was for Mother's Day, but I will definitely be going there probably in the next month or two.
Gotcha. Yeah, and
Yeah.
then also about LIC, my friend used to live in the high rises, and every time I visited her, like the view is insane. Like you think the view in Manhattan is nice? No, go to LIC and then you'll see the view.
Yeah. No, I mean, I love my view. I've been in this apartment for a little bit over a year and a half, and it's amazing. I just feel like I get to see the city and I'm so close to it, but I don't have to deal with all the
The
loud
craziness.
yeah.
There's still probably a little bit. So, yeah, since it's so close. So, as we're waiting for Sarah, do you just want to start a little bit? Maybe just tell us about your business and just like we'll start with the basics.
Let's do it. So my name is Amanda Wojtas. Oh, actually Sarah just wrote to me.
Let's see. I think it paused a little bit because if you get off of Instagram, it pauses a little bit. But yeah, hello everyone. Let us know if you can hear us well. Let us know how you're doing. We lost Amanda for a little bit, but she'll be back. Oh, technical difficulties. But stay tuned. It's going to be a great conversation. Let me know how you're doing. Hi, Terrence. Hi, software giveaway. We'll approve Amanda again. Oh, perfect. Hey.
I had no idea that when you answer a text message and you're on a live, that it completely exits you out. So now
Yep, it happens. It's okay. You're good. You're good.
Okay, Sarah's joining us. So let's start from the beginning. So my name is Amanda Wojtas. I'm the founder and CEO of Eternal Fleur, and we specialize in floral arrangements that last 365 days without water or sunlight. I've been doing this business now for 4 years. It started in an apartment in New York City, in the heart of New York City, right in Midtown. It started as mainly a D2C business, and a few years ago we went into B2B. Some of our largest clients are Harry Winston, Smashbox, True Religion, but predominantly still our business is mainly D2C. And then this year I actually brought Sarah on board as our co-founder and chief revenue officer. So once she gets on the call, I think it'll be good to introduce her and then go from there, because we've had so many changes happen this year, and it's
Oh my goodness, I can imagine. It was probably so challenging, right? Because I feel like so we can talk about it a little bit, because I feel like with COVID, right, a lot of things probably changed, and you're running a flower business, right? And flowers are not essential, and a lot of people, lost their jobs. So how did you pivot? Like, what did you have to do, when the pandemic hit?
So during the pandemic, I mean, we were really lucky in April and May of last year, because a lot of businesses were really unsure, what's going to happen during COVID, but we were actually extremely busy. We were understaffed. So
wow.
April, a lot of our customers, or a lot of our D2C customers, were sending gifts because everybody was at home. So, a lot of get well gifts, birthday gifts, anniversary gifts. And then Mother's Day last year was, it was just bonkers. I actually slept in the warehouse for 4 days.
Oh my gosh.
Because we were so understaffed, and obviously we had a team putting everything together, but we just didn't have enough helping hands, and there were just so many orders coming in. So we actually had a good problem last.
So you basically pulled an Elon Musk.
Exactly.
Let me just approve Sarah over here.
I think Sarah is joining, or she's on.
Yep, I think I have to. Oh, hi.
Perfect. I like your shirt. You're like the hot magenta pink, and I'm the green.
Yes, I almost wore magenta, but I didn't. So we almost coordinated. Yeah, so we were just, nice to see. We were just talking about, how COVID impacted your business, and it sounds like it was a little crazy, but in a good way. Yeah, so we're just chatting about that a little bit. So that's really, really, really great. Congratulations. And, so just so we can kick it off, again, can you each tell me a little bit about your childhood, and maybe, what was your wildest dream when you were growing up, and, where you grew up?
Yes, so I'll actually have Sarah start, because she was the one with the business plan when she was a child.
Yeah, it's true. I grew up in Pensacola, Florida, and from a very young age, I just kind of knew that it took hard work to make things happen. I remember when I was around 8 years old, I wanted to go to summer camp, and I asked my mom, and she's like, honey, I would love for you to go to summer camp, but we can't afford it. And I was like, well, what if I pay for it? If I pay for it, can I go to summer camp? And she was like, okay, it's $500, so good luck. So I started my first business, which was a cake baking business, where I made cupcakes and sold them around the neighborhood. That summer, I actually made over $2,000. I paid for my sister to go to summer camp too. And it was a really fun experience. My mom is such an incredible mom, in that she made me do kind of a very simple P&L, but she was like, you can't just take stuff from the kitchen. You need to use your profits to go to the
So she really made you work for it.
Did. So yeah, sorry, I'm getting over a cold, so I'm off here and there. But yeah, so from a very young age, I was an entrepreneur, and moved to LA years and years ago. We won't say how many ago. A while ago.
Sorry.
I moved I actually moved to LA when I was 17. I'm only 21. No. And I just really found so much joy in taking an idea from inception to growth stage. And so I've done that with several companies. And now I'm so excited to be Amanda's partner here at Eternal Fleur to really grow the business. So it's really exciting times.
That's awesome. You know what I always say, if I have kids or when or if, I was like, they are literally, when they start walking, they're going to Central Park, they're setting up a lemonade stand. Like, that's what's happening.
Yeah. Your kids those values from a young age, because I think that's something that's really missing with a lot of kids. Like, they spend so much time on their phones, and they don't even understand that when they're like, hey mom, can I like buy this game, it's $11.99 per month, that's really add up. Or like, hey, can I buy this thing on Amazon? And the parents are like, yeah, it's only $3. But at the end of the day, that adds up. So I'm really grateful that my mom taught me those principles from a young age.
Oh yeah, I have a younger brother, so I can totally relate. He's like, can I use your card again and again and again? And I'm like, wait, it's been hundreds of dollars. Like, yeah, I'll pay it back. I'm like, you're right. No, you won't.
Are you going to pay it back, sweetie pie?
I told him recently, I was like, you owe me a Ferrari when you're like closer to 30, like with all the money I've given you. But yeah, we always joke about that. So how about you, Amanda? Like, did you know you're going to have like a flower business when you're older?
I had no idea. So when I was a kid growing up, I actually grew up in South Jersey near Philadelphia. I was born in Toronto, so I'm Canadian, but I was raised in New Jersey. I actually wanted to be a musician / dancer / performer. I really looked up to different like celebrities, Britney Spears, NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, and I had my heart set on becoming a performer, an artist, and that's kind of what I used to do. I used to love listening to music and dancing and singing, but I didn't like practicing it. So that's why I knew that it was not the right fit for me, because if I had actually practiced it and, took singing lessons and dancing lessons, I did dancing for a few years, mainly hip hop and jazz. I didn't like ballet at all. It was not but yeah, and then I tried acting, and I was like, I really don't want to practice. I was the same way with school. Like, I just was kind of like one of those people who was like, I think I already know this. Like, let me put together the info that I have and then just put something together. So I didn't like practicing, so to speak. So that kind of fell through. But when I was 15, 16, I really was fascinated by eBay and how you could sell anything. Like, I mean, there was people selling everything from clothing to car parts to random accessories. And I love that, like, there was like a whole bidding strategy to it, and that you can actually resell things that you purchase and you might not be able to return it, or, it was pre-owned and whatnot. So what I actually started doing when I was in high school is I started selling some of my clothes, my mom's clothes, friends' clothes. I kind of just went around and asked everyone if they had something to sell, and I offered them a commission.
That's so cool.
So I had like a pre-owned, or things that you bought but you can't return shop. And I did that pretty much throughout college, and then I was like, all right, this is too time consuming. It's not working for me. And then actually Amazon started to take over eBay. So I kind of put that on the side, but I kind of knew when I went to FIT, I went to the Fashion Institute of Technology, that I wanted to do something in e-commerce. But at that time, FIT was not offering really any courses in regards to, e-commerce or whatnot. So I went in like the fashion merchandising management route. And then I got into, the wholesale industry. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of, where I got the idea for Eternal Fleur, where I learned more about consumer goods and, all the different types of demographics and distribution channels that are out there. So yeah, just, working for different companies and selling different kind of products, and, kind of led me to, gather the idea of Eternal Fleur, and then it started as a D2C business, and now we're expanding, scaling, and growing. And I'm happy we brought Sarah on board this year, because we've made so many changes since January,
and now it's the world takeover.
Yeah, it's almost August, like this month.
Yeah, and that's so funny. I just had such flashbacks when you were talking about your childhood, because it must be just like the Polish gene in you or something. Because my mom was just like, you have to go to music school, so we had a piano, and I was like, I hate it. And I was talking to my aunt, and I was like, how many times did you see me practicing on the piano? And my aunt was like, never. And I'm like, and then I had to do ballet and this and sing, and I couldn't play the piano and I couldn't sing, but they forced me to do it. So there's something in there, It must be the genetics or something.
Yeah, no, my mom definitely, I think she kind of programmed it in my head. And then before I actually went to college, my parents were like, okay, you have to be a lawyer or a doctor. And that was like also, I think, set in their head, because a lot of my cousins are lawyers and doctors besides me. I actually didn't even finish FIT. I have an associate's, but I don't even have a bachelor's. So I'm definitely like the black sheep in the family. I kind of do my own thing.
Yeah.
Even my sister's very traditional. She just finished undergrad and she's on the dean's list, and now she's going back to school and working. So it just really depends on your goals and your preferences. But yeah, I mean, my parents wanted me to be a lawyer, doctor too. So
yeah, but it's like, it's good, it's good that they force you to try different things, because as a kid you probably were like, I just want to go kick a ball around, and that's it.
Exactly.
So that's good. Exactly. So my next question is, for the two of you, you are co-founders, right? And
Yes.
A lot of people run their businesses on their own, and they're scared to bring people on. Like, that's a big thing that I keep reading and hearing about, that founders are really scared to like give away the power or whatever it is. Like, so how did you guys meet, and how does that relationship between you work? And like, how do you make it successful? Like, what are some of your tips for that?
Well, this is a great question. We didn't meet in real life first.
Oh, wow.
2020 during the pandemic. It was also in the summer, so a year ago, maybe a little bit over a year ago. So Sarah's best friend, Nicole Lappin, who's also one of our best clients, I had basically just reached out to her. I reached out kind of within my network and was like, hey, like, I'm looking for a co-founder. Like, do you have any recommendations, or do you know anybody, or like, do you know where I should start? Because it's not like something you can post on just like LinkedIn or like Indeed and like hope that you're going to find the right fit.
Everyone will like apply and reach out to you.
Yeah.
And their mom.
Yeah. Founder, especially like when a business has already been, operating for a few years, you're really going into a marriage. I mean, either way, whenever you start a company, it doesn't matter, even in the beginning of phases, when you bring on a co-founder, or there's multiple co-founders, you're committing to like a lifelong commitment.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, honestly, if it wasn't for Nicole, we would have never met. And the reason, that I trust Sarah is because I trust Nicole and her recommendations. So I was like, hey, like, let me reach out to her. And it took, how long did we chat for? We discuss
Months.
Yeah, it was like 6 months. And then Sarah joined us on board in January, but we actually didn't physically meet until like March.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I flew out to LA because that's where Sarah's based. And we did our first photo shoot. We did like a women's campaign and a photo shoot, and Sarah led everything. Like, I just kind of left everything on Sarah, and, she nailed it. And like, I was kind of like, like, I don't really know her, but I kind of know her, but I don't know her in real life. But yeah, it worked out really well. And what was the other question? I'm sorry, you mentioned.
Yeah, I would also love to hear like from Sarah's perspective. Like, how did you decide? You're like, hey, I want to be a co-founder. Like, oh, this is cool, So what was the thought process there?
Yeah, so I had exited my second company, and I guess it would have been closer to like April, May of last year. And I was kind of like fighting burnout and reassessing and deciding what I wanted to do. I had wanted to move to Bali for 6 months and just do like an eat, pray, love sort of adventure. But then the pandemic happened and I was on stay-at-home orders in my apartment in LA. And so Amanda reached out and I looked at the business and flowers, which is different from what I've done because previously I've done a lot of like very traditional like tech companies. But the fundamentals of building a business are the same.
Mm-hmm.
I decide if I wanted to start my own thing, go work at like a Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, in like a VP or C-level role, or join an existing smaller startup. And for me, as I kind of looked deep inside and decided like what would be the most meaningful to me, I chose Eternal Fleur because I felt like I have the skills and have like gone through the paces to be able to back it up, and I'm really passionate about supporting women entrepreneurs and helping kind of take my experience to build up other women. And I was like, I feel like this is the perfect fit because here's an existing business that has legs. Here is like a bright founder and visionary with good ideas. And I am an expert execution, like at execution and getting things done and scaling. And so I felt like we would be such a great match and partnership. And I was like, this is something I can really sink my teeth in and help grow. So that's why I joined the company, and it's been such a delight getting to know Amanda and working with her. Of course, it was an even bigger decision because we weren't able to meet in person.
Mm-hmm.
When we did finally meet, that I feel like we have so many things in common personally, and we complement each other professionally. So it's a really good fit, and it's been really fun to kind of get into the weeds of the company and kind of sort through everything and figure out how I can help improve and how I can streamline and how I can to go out and fundraise, which we're actually in the process of opening up a round for.
That's amazing. That's so good. Yeah, sometimes, just like love at first sight in business is just like, oh, I like you. Like, you have the thing, so totally understand that. Then, so my next question is, you mentioned, Amanda, that it's kind of like a marriage, right? And marriage is, sometimes you have little arguments or disagreements or, like if there's like a decision to be made, like one person thinks A, the other person thinks B. How do you, overcome that without like putting your emotion into it? Like, how do you deal with those situations?
I mean, I usually like to weigh out what are the strengths and what are the weaknesses, or what are the benefits, what are not the benefits, that at least I think, but I also want to hear what Sarah has to think, and then we come up with some kind of plan. Anything that we pretty much do, we always, discuss with each other. And I don't think we've had a hard time agreeing on anything. There are sometimes certain things that but like we're both pretty not like difficult, I would say. Like we don't say a lot. I don't know. I definitely say yes more than Sarah does, which I like because Sarah is more about like the data and the results. I'm more of like, oh, I like this idea. Like, let's try it. I don't want to say no because I feel bad kind of thing. Like I think it might work, but I don't know, but I kind of like it. But I like that Sarah really digs in and looks at the data and it's like, right, we're running a business, not a charity. Because sometimes,
yeah. I totally understand that. Oh my God, with me and Rahana, it's like I'm the one who's like, woo, oh my God, amazing, let's do everything tomorrow. And then she's more like, okay, Justina, calm down. Y and Z and this and this and that. And I'm like, oh, you're right. We can't do this.
Yeah. I like to say yes too much, and I'm learning to say no. So if I'm going to say no, Sarah usually or go behind that, and then I'm like, all right, you're right. No.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
but it's good. It's a balance,
Yes.
No sentence.
Exactly.
I feel like we have really good communication, and even in the times when there's like a little bit of tension, I think that Amanda and I are good at being able to step back and be like, okay, we both have aligned interests and shared goals, and our values are the same. And so even in the moments where maybe we don't understand the other, we have so much trust in each other that we have aligned goals and shared values that we know that even if we don't understand the other person's perspective fully, we trust, like that overarching level of trust in the same things, that I think like really backs up those decisions and diffuses any frustration that we have.
Exactly.
You know, and I am like, I try to be like by the book, like data driven. So like Amanda might come to me with an idea and I'm like, yeah, like that sounds fantastic. The numbers do not add up. There is, you know, like here are the numbers, or like here's the data, or like, hey, like here's the pro forma. It doesn't lie. This has nothing to do with my opinion, my emotions, or how I feel about the business. This is just the cold hard facts, and this is how we have to move forward. And then Amanda's like, oh yeah, but the data doesn't lie. So at the end of the day, I feel like whenever we get into like a tricky situation or we have some sort of disagreement, we just revert back to the data and let the data decide. And I think that that's such a beautiful way to operate as co-founders and as partners, because then it's really not personal and it's not, and it's just like completely straightforward, and it's something that you can rely on. And at the end of the day, math doesn't lie.
Exactly. So I like what you said. It's like, it's the data plus it's the, like Rohana said, the trust. Because like Rohana sometimes calls me, she goes like, Justina, I made an executive decision, X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, okay, I trust you, let's go. So I totally agree with that. And so Terrence has a question for Amanda. Do you think if you didn't know someone who recommended Sarah, it would have been difficult to find a co-founder?
Yes, it is, because I was interviewing other potential candidates. And when you don't have any kind of like references, not like employment references, you know, a lot of people, you can call somebody's references and they're going to give you the most amazing reference.
Yep. It's usually like their best friend or something, pretend to be their manager. Yeah.
But if I hadn't known the person beforehand, or someone that knows that person, then I probably still wouldn't have had a co-founder by now. Because to me, in order for me to trust somebody, I need to know that somebody else trusts them. And if somebody else trusts them, then I trust them. So I mean, that's just maybe how I operate. But, you know, I was interviewing other candidates and I just kind of was like, I'm not really sure. I think they're great. I think they have a lot of, you know, positive characteristics and their strengths are wonderful. But I didn't really know them. And, you know, it was also COVID. So it's not like they live in New York and we can even meet and get coffee. It's kind of like, hey, you know, you live somewhere else. I mean, most of these people live somewhere else. And I mean, I couldn't have even gotten really on a flight. And then, like, who would have I reached out to be like, oh, hey, like, is this person a good fit? Or what do you think? Not, I mean, I had no reference for that. So, yeah.
So basically, just reach out to your network, right? And see who knows who.
Yeah. Reach out to your network. You know, if you're looking to bring on a co-founder, you know, figure out what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, and then look for someone who fills in those weaknesses. That's the best type of co-founder for you, because I was also actually interviewing someone who had all the same strengths as I do, but all the same weaknesses as I do. And then I'm like,
not good.
Because we're just going to be basically doing the same thing, or there's going to be certain areas that are not getting enough attention because we are not, you know, we're not specialized in those areas, or maybe don't have the knowledge or the tools to get things done that we should be doing.
True. So my next question is, for your specific kind of a business, what is unique about it? Like, what is your unique proposition for the customers, and what is the biggest challenge with running your business?
Do you want to answer that one, Sarah, and then I'll take over?
What is unique about the business and what are our biggest challenges?
Yes.
Well, let's see. you know, for me, like I said, coming from a tech background, it's like all so different and unique. Because it's just different, like, right? Like, I have been really focused on like user acquisition and user behavior and like how do people interact with the app, or the apps that I've created. And so with this, it's like, how do people interact with flowers? Like, what drives people to purchase? It's like, it's a completely different kind of like learning curve. And I think, you know, with a traditional cut flower business, you have that, you have that, like, they die every week, right? So in and in itself, it's a product that kind of like sells itself, that's reoccurring, and there's reoccurring revenue. Well, with our flowers, because they last for 365 days without sunlight or water, they're probably gifted to one person by another person once a year, right? Mm-hmm. That makes that like traditional like user acquisition or like those data points that I'm used to looking at less, because you're not, it's less about like trying to get your returning customers to purchase or interact, but to get them to think of you for every holiday. Mm-hmm. And you have to really be on a person's mind all the time, not just for your mom on Mother's Day, but for your best friend for their birthday, or like the just because, or the this, that, like whatever, like overall like universal gifting. That's both a challenge and a blessing, because obviously offer a higher value proposition than a traditional cut flower company. So, you know, I think it's so fun and unique that we're able to impact the environment by reducing the amount of water that's needed to grow flowers. You know, you don't have to feel bad about having flowers on your table every week, and you don't have to change the water. There's so many things that make Eternal Fleur special in how it interacts with the environment. And so, yeah, it's like there's so many things that are unique and kind of special about what we're doing. You know, it's like so fun to even be able to hold this flower that's been on my desk since March, to go into an arrangement that I haven't had time to do because I've been busy looking at the data. But it's such a special, fun, unique thing, and you know, we make people happy, and that's really different than a lot of other companies out there. You know, it's kind of our ethos. It's like, how can we make a positive impact both on the environment and on the mental state of our customers?
Yeah, because when people get flowers, it's just like the best thing, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
In a good mood, and that's at the end of the day what we're trying to do is create emotions. And you know, we have all different types of flowers. We have roses, we have peonies, hydrangeas, carnations. So you know, we really have something for everyone.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing. I didn't even know that. Like, I've been on your website, but I feel like I only saw like other, you know, your competitors just like doing roses. So that's so cool that you have all different kinds of flowers. That's really, really, really cool. So my next question for you, I'm sorry?
I said we have some really fun new styles that are going to come out that are very different from our competitors. So definitely stay tuned and circle back to the website.
Yay! No, that's so exciting. Like I'm telling you, ladies, world takeover. So my final question for you is, what would be your advice for people who are already running a business or just maybe starting a business? Like, what is, you know, one key takeaway that you could share with us?
Well, make sure you build out your team. So obviously before you start your business, or if you've started your business and say something isn't working or you want to scale and grow beyond what, you know, where you are now, really do your research. See, you know, what markets maybe you're not catering to, or who are your competitors that you never thought were your competitors, or is there something you can change that you haven't changed yet? But I think the number one thing is who's on your team, because you can't do everything by yourself. There's always changes that are going to be made, and if you don't make those changes, somebody else will. That's your competitor. You know, obviously just do a bunch of research. you know, Sarah and I are always sending each other even just things on like Instagram or that we see online or different articles, you know, on different business models or trying out a different type of product line or maybe catering to a different type of market. There's so many different ways to approach it, but the number one thing is really research and then having the right type of team.
I love that you said that, because those are like the two things that, like I said in the beginning, people like struggle with, just like trusting people. And it's like that quote that goes around that it's like hire fast, fire faster, right? So like if someone isn't right for the team, like, you know, just do it. Because it's not an emotional thing. You're running a business, right? And then also I see so many people who don't succeed because they think like, oh, I have this kind of a product and I'm going to make it. Like, you have to adjust, you have to adapt, you have to tweak things along the way. So I think that's really great advice. Thank you. How about you, Sarah?
Yeah, I mean, iterate, right? Don't be afraid to fail fast. I think there's a couple of books that I'll go ahead and throw out there and recommend that I think are really helpful. One is The Hard Thing About Hard Things by Ben Horowitz.
I love that book.
Yeah, it's such a great book, and I think it's such a great like lesson in like how to make some of those decisions, and then gives so many like just awesome like practical examples of like how to make those hard decisions. And then also, you know, to your point, as it relates to culture and hiring fast and firing faster, I think the Netflix manifesto is like a brilliant document. Really brutal document. Definitely does not inspire me to want to work at Netflix, but a brilliant lesson in entrepreneurship and in building a company. You know, if you're at the very, very beginning stage trying to figure out if your idea has legs or not, or is a good idea, right? It's so hard to decide, like, is this a good idea or is this a great idea? And if it's not, if it's just a good idea, like, you probably shouldn't do it, because it needs to be great and there needs to be product market fit and it needs to matter and people are going to have to care. And so the exercise that I often tell people that I mentor to kind of put them through their paces is to just like write your first press release. And if you like write it before you do your business plan, before you do a deck, before you do anything, just like write a press release. Because if you can't get through that exercise, like, you don't have a company and you don't have a product and it's not going to work. And it's a really simple, easy exercise. So it's kind of my like number one piece of advice for somebody who has an idea that's wanting to start a business. And then once you have started it will come as no surprise that my advice is like point to the data, like look at the data, A/B test everything. And like, I think it just makes your life a little bit easier, like, because you can just be like, yep, these are the numbers, this is the answer, period, the end. And it's a combination of data plus intuition plus traditional knowledge, and have those three things for decision making and running a company.
Yeah, I feel like you should, you know, you should advise a lot of VC firms who give away money, because I love to follow like who invested and who, you know, what their rounds were. And sometimes I see like a seed round and I'm like, really, this is what you invested in? Like, so they should have given them like, you know, I send it to Rahana all the time. I'm like, really? Like, they're not going to be around in 6 months, and they're not. Like, you know, I'm pretty good at that. So we have to be preaching this exercise to everyone now, like do the press release and then we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just such a simple, easy exercise that doesn't take that much time. And if it does take that much time, then you already know it's not going to work, because it should be so simple. Mm-hmm. Like so simple. And it really points to if it's a good product or if you actually have a business model. So it's can be a bit of a dream killer. I can be a bit of a dream killer, to be fair. But at the end of the day, I just don't want people wasting their time. Like, I don't want to waste my time. And so before I get into like the nitty gritty of like helping somebody build out their business plan, I'm like, cool, like come back to me with a press release. And oftentimes people are like, yeah, I couldn't do it. I'm like, yeah, because it was a terrible idea. Instead of having to say like, it's a bad idea, you could just be like, well, why don't you just write a press release? And then people can come to it, which is oftentimes better than telling someone, right? It's better to show somebody how to fish than to give them fish.
Exactly, exactly. And you know what? You're so right, because for me, for the past like 5 years, we've been running WERULE and it's been successful. But I had a dream to like, build something else. And basically, I think I shared this with you in technology, which we're like, finally, like we have something that's good and simple and great. But I'm telling you, for 5 years, people are like, no, this is a bad idea. Like, you're not going to do it because it wasn't simple enough. And I just kept going and kept going. And I was like, no, but this is going to work. Like, but I didn't, I didn't know how to communicate it with the customers and what it actually is. And finally, after a few years, I'm like, I got it. Like, finally. So everyone else was right. They were bad ideas.
Hey, listen, it takes like so many ideas to have a great one, and I think it's a good exercise in general to be taking ideas and thinking about new products and new ways of doing things, because it's an exercise, right? It's a muscle. Problem solving is a muscle. And to be able to look out in the world and look out at your environment and say like, oh, there's a problem and I have a solution, right? Like, is such an incredible talent and powerful tool. And that's something that a lot of founders possess, and you have to possess it. But sometimes I think where I see founders go wrong is where they zero in on a problem that is for a niche audience, right? It's like, it might be a problem in their life, but it's like not a problem for the average person. Mm-hmm. And you really need to make sure that your market size, right, or your audience or your user base, your customer base is going to be big enough for it to be $1 billion idea, or at least an idea that can sustain your lifestyle at the very least. And so for that, you have to be looking at all the factors, not just like your bubble.
Exactly. And you have to listen to all the feedback, because if so many people are telling you don't do it, then don't do it. Or think of a better way.
That's where that A/B testing and focus groups come in. Like, I love a focus group. I've done so many focus groups for companies in the past to just like get feedback. I used to have an office on Hollywood Boulevard. I point because it's Hollywood Boulevard. I live in Hollywood, and we actually pulled people off the street, like tourists off the street, and we're like, we'll give you a $25 Amazon gift card if you will come and like run through this app and let us record it so that we can figure out what's wrong and what's missing. When you're building a product or you're building, a platform, you can get, or even building out a deck for a pitch deck, you can get like so in your head about it and like that information inside and out, and then somebody else looking at it for the first time is like, wait, like there's like what is
yeah, they're like, we don't get it. Yeah.
Oh, if you're coming at it from my point of view, it makes perfect sense. But that's where you have to have different perspectives from different diversities, from different walks of life, from different points of view, to really be able to have a well-rounded idea, document, company, product, app, etc. company.
Exactly. And the message I'm getting here is just like, listen to your customers, like go talk to them, because they will tell you.
They will tell you if they want it. People will tell you. People do not lie. Like, people, like, as it relates to customers, like, they're not going to do you any favors. Like, they're going to be brutally honest. So that means you have to be brutally honest with your business partners and with your team. And it means you can't take it personally, and you have to check your ego out.
Exactly. Because it's not about you, it's about your business and your customers, So you might think it's right, but the customers are like, no. So then you have to pivot, which I think is great advice. Thank you so much for this. And so the next and final part that we'll do is like fun rapid fire questions that Rahana prepared for us. They're just meant to be like a 1-sentence answer, and fun. So what is the best thing that happened to each of you this month? It could be personal, it could be business related.
The best thing that happened to me this month is that I just had like the most fun restorative time with my girlfriends in Napa, and we went wine tasting, and it was such a delight to be in nature and such a great escape. And so yeah, trip to Napa. That's my one.
Yes. That sounds amazing.
So I would say, honestly, this whole year has been amazing. So I've been traveling a lot. This month I didn't get to travel as much, but Sarah actually came to visit, which was probably the highlight of this month.
Oh,
Yay!
Had meetings with ambassadors, and she got to meet a few of my friends. So yeah, I would say that was probably like the highlight of July.
I can't believe that feels like ages ago. We've done so good, but you're right, it was this month. That would have been the highlight of my month too, if I read calendar straight.
Well, you know what, too? Like, I mean, the past 2 weeks I've been going out east, but the weather's just been really it's just been really, it hasn't been so beautiful outside. I mean, today is gorgeous, and I want to like make a few hours today to like spend some time outside, because it's been literally raining every day in New York, I feel like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was in Chicago, same thing. So we have to go visit Sarah in LA. It's probably been nice.
I think so. Yeah, she's the one with the better weather.
So the next question is, what is your best quality?
Woo! That's like
Like it could be anything.
Anything, yeah. All of it. I have all the qualities.
do you want to swap? Amanda, do you want me to say your best quality and you can say my best
Yes.
quality?
Yes, that's perfect.
That's easier.
In that way. Probably something that we should work on in general, but I feel like that's like such a hard thing. I think one of Amanda's best qualities is that she is extremely resilient and like so flexible and open to feedback, and like such a fast learner, and like has such a wonderful ability to like really check her ego at the door, which is such a like great quality in a co-founder. And she just really approaches things with kindness and grace and understanding, and is really like open-minded and graceful in the things that she does. And yeah, I've been so impressed as I've gotten to know her, and we've been able to have really hard conversations, and she's been able to like change the way she thinks or the way she acts or the way she approaches things based on the feedback that I've given her, and the lessons that we've learned together. And I think that that's such an incredible quality and a really unique one, because a lot of people are so set in their ways and so focused in on their own agendas that like you can't have a conversation to be like, hey, like we could do this differently. And it would be better. And she's just like, yep, I see it, I got it. And then we'll like pivot really quickly. So it's a resilience. She's very resilient and has a wonderful ability to be able to quickly understand and pivot, and very fast learner.
I love that.
Well, thank you, Sarah. That was very sweet of you. I'm gonna get a little emotional. So really good at communicating, and that's, I would say, her number one strength for sure. She's really good at texting, putting together emails. When I don't know how to say no, or I don't know how to answer something, I'm like, hey, Sarah, need your help with this? And she totally nails it. So I love it. 'Cause I hate confrontation, and Sarah's like ready to go. Like she has her answer ready, and I'm like, okay, I know I can always count on her, which is super, super important, because, you know, obviously there's a lot of strengths and weaknesses that we have, but I know I can always count on Sarah if I need something communicated over that I can't do because I hate confrontation, or I just don't have the knowledge or enough resources to put it together. I love that Sarah's positive and bubbly. She's that all kind of goes with the communication aspect too. She's definitely the more outgoing one. Even though I'm actually, I know Sarah, I can always count on Sarah to communicate. And even with us now raising our first round, you know, I've pretty much put everything in Sarah's hands, and I'm having her take over the pitch and, you know, the pitch deck and kind of all the fun stuff, and a lot of the difficult stuff that goes into it, but I know I can trust her, and she's done really, really an amazing job with putting everything together. And I know I can entrust her to pitch and campaign and sell and do all that fun stuff and manage too. So.
Oh my God, that's amazing. You guys seem like you're literally like perfect for this business.
Yeah.
So I'm so happy for you. No, it's perfect. So the last question is, it's switching a little bit. If you could explore one of these, which one would it be? Would it be the deep sea or would it be space?
The deep sea, 100%.
And why? Like one sentence.
I love going out into the open. Actually spent the last 6 months kind of going back and forth between the Caribbean, and I've swam with Caribbean reef sharks and nurse sharks and stingrays and sea turtles, and I like to explore. I like to go on the journey, so to speak. I like to know, I like to look into the unknown, or really just see what the world has to offer. And the deep sea is really full of mysteries that not everyone's willing to explore.
The sharks do it for me. Like I'm like, I can't do that.
I can now. I've overcome my fear.
I think I'm gonna go with space, partially because Amanda and I were actually in the Caribbean together, and I like jumped in to go snorkeling and like completely had a panic attack because I felt like and so hopefully I can breathe better in space, obviously with oxygen. And also love the stars in general. And I love like vast expanses. Like I love to sit and look at the ocean, but as far as like being in it, I can get super freaked out sometimes, but I plan on really conquering that fear. And I was lucky enough to get to spend time on a boat with Amanda to start to conquer that fear and get in the water. But I think I'm going to go with space. I'm going to go with space.
Perfect. That's cool. That's cool. So Amanda can take you to the Caribbean, and you guys have to call her Hannah because she's from the Caribbean, and then we'll go to space. So
Do it.
Both of the best worlds. So just to close out, sorry, I don't know what happened for a second. I need more coffee. But so just to close out, like, how can we support you? Where can we find you? Your business and you.
So you can find us online at www.eternalfleur.com. We are on Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest. Google is the best tool, so just type in Eternal Fleur, and you'll find us there. And then I have a personal Instagram. My Instagram is Forever Florist, and then Sarah's is Sarah Zurell. Did I miss anything, Sarah? Any other places they can find us?
Oh, that's where you can find us. And like I said, we've got some awesome new styles that are about to come out. Please follow us on Eternal Fleur here on Instagram. We're going to be launching a women's campaign at the end of this month. It's going to be really fun, where people are going to be able to nominate inspiring women in their life for a chance to win a bouquet. We have some other fun collaborations with other brands. So there will be like gift cards and all sorts of different things. So make sure you stay tuned to that and participate. And we've got some exciting stuff ahead.
Cool. That's awesome. Thank you so much, ladies, for the conversation. If you guys missed it, or if you joined a little later, I'll have a little bio and the description and all the links on my Instagram, which we'll reshare. And thank you so much, and have a great day. Thank you for joining.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Bye.